Buenos dias. It's me, Angel Grace G. Laponga. In our topic today's video, we'll talk about simplifying radicals expression using the laws of radicals. But before we start, we need to review the different parts of a radical expressions. But before, what is a radical expressions? In mathematics, the nth root of a number a is the number that, when taken as a factor n times, becomes the number a. Radical represent the roots of a number. We have a given expressions in which if we read this, it is read as the cube root of 8. And as you will see, what are the different parts we have in our radical expressions? Here, in cube root of 8, the smaller number is called index. The this symbol is called radical sign. And the number inside the radical sign, it is called a radical. And the entire sign, this is none other than the radical expressions. As a convention, if no index appears in a radical or in the index, if there is no number, it is understood as a um, square root, or is understand 2. Now, before I ever start studying and simplifying radical expressions, we need to know the essential laws we have to simplify a radical expression, the laws of radicals, so that we can answer and simply the radicals, simplify the radical expressions more easily. Let's recall the laws of radicals. Here, number one, the nth root of a raised to n. Number two is the n equals to a. Then the number two, the nth root of a b is equal to nth root of a times nth root of b. Number three is nth root of a over b equals to nth root of a over nth root of b. And I also recommend that you need to familiarize the first 10 perfect square and first 10 cube perfect, starting to 1 up to 100, because it will help you to simplifying radicals. We have the first screen number, which is that followed by 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 48, 64, 81, 100, and so on. And the cube 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, 343, 512, 729, 1000, and so on. Now, let's start simplifying radicals. We have here number 1. We have here the square root of 25. Simply the answer is 5. How? Using the law number 1, as you can see, using the law number 1 to extract these expressions, remember, square root of 25 is equals to 5 squared. Can be expressed into 5 squared. So the square root of 5 squared is 25, is 5. In number 2, we have the square root of 63. As you can see, 63 is not a perfect square number. So how can we simplify this expression? Basic. If the number itself is not a perfect square, you need to factor out 63 of the number, wherein one of the factor is perfect square. So we need to factor 63. We need to think the number that if we multiply the two number, the answer is 63. So we have here a square root of 9 times 7, because 9 times 7 equals to 63. So the factor of 63, the one side is perfect square. Here, 9 is a perfect square, as you can see. So we're applying actually the law number 2. The square root of 9 times 7, that will be equal to the square root of 9 times the square root of 7. And it will be 9, so separate like the law number 2, times square root of 7. As you can see, we have the single radical wherein the square root of 9 is equivalent to 3. Okay. Here, the square root of 9 is perfect square, so we need to extract this. Square root of 9 is equivalent to 3. And our square root of 7, since there is no factors in a perfect square aside from 1, as is the square root of 7, so the answer is square root of 7. 3 times square root of 7 is the final answer. Let's move to number 3. Alright. From the item number 3, we have here the square root of 50 over 121. It may be difficult, but we'll try to solve. Okay, we can factor the numerator and denominator. To simplify is so far the numerator. Or we'll apply our third law. First, we need to factor the numerator. The factor of 50 is 35 times 2. Okay. And then over, we need to say two number that when we multiply by one number that when we multiply by itself, the answer is 121. And I think this is 11, because 11 times 11 is 121. So we have here square root of 25 times 2 over square root of 11. Equals, alright. This is not done yet because the 25 is still a perfect square. We need to simplify. So we have square root of 25 times 2 over square root of 11. So square root of 25 is 5. 5. And then the square root of 2 is, this is not a perfect square, so it will remain inside. So this is, and this is the final answer. So 5 times square root of 2 over 11 is the final answer. That's all. Thank you.